Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for sticking with me. If you're a new subscriber, you're welcome. So today we'll be learning how to cut and sew this style. Let's dive into the video. At the shoulder line, I'll be taking the shoulder measurement, which is 7.5 inch. I'll indicate. Then I'll be using 3 inch for the neck width and neck depth. I've gone ahead to take all my measurements, so I'll be using my tape to show you all the measurement. For the chest line, you divide your bust by 6 and add 1.5 inch, which is 7. I added 1 inch, making 8 because of the shoulder slant. You take the measurements of your shoulder up down to the chest line, then you make a line for your armhole. From the shoulder slant to the chest line, I have 7 inch. So I'll be taking half measurement of 7 inch, and then I'll go in by half inch, then connect it like you see me doing. You're going to take your bust, divide by 4, make a mark and connect the line like you see me do. Go in by half of your nipple to nipple measurement. Hers is 8, so I'll be using 4 inch. So on these center front, I'll be using 0.75 on the under bust and the waistline. I'll go in by 1.25 on the under bust for the other side. Now you see the line, you're going to connect a curve down to the bust point. You connect it like so, like you see me doing. After connecting it, you go to the shoulder. Then you take half of the shoulder measurement, make a mark and draw a straight line onto the mark. From the chest line, you're going to come up by 1.5 inch. Then you take your tape and mark half inch on both sides on the line. Then you connect it like you see me doing. After doing that, you are going to have to use your tape to take the measurement from the bust point to the line you just drew to avoid any shortage when putting this piece together. After doing that, you are going to measure the neckline of how open you want your neckline to be. Mine, I will be using 8 inch because I don't want it to be too open. I'll go ahead to create my own sweetheart neckline like you see me do, then create the other one into the chest line. But if you want yours to be open like the one in the friend's video, you go in by 1 inch on the chest line, then you go down by 1 inch on the bust line and connect it like so. Go ahead and take all my measurement and be adding 2 inch sewing allowance. On the bust point, I will take the bust divided by 4 and add 2 inch sewing allowance. Other bust divide by 4, then you take the dart intake there, then you add it, then you add your sewing allowance. Same thing, you repeat the same thing for the waistline divide by 4 plus your dart allowance, then you add your 2 inch sewing allowance. Then on the bust point, you are going to come down by 1 inch for the dart intake. You are going to connect it into the bust point like so. Places you see me striking out are places you will not be needing anymore, so you go ahead and cut the armhole like you see me doing. After cutting, you are going to cut open the center of the dart, then you cut the side open so that you place it on each other and use your tape to stick it down. Then you connect the line like so, so that you don't have any error while cutting. I've gone ahead to add my sewing allowance, so I will not be adding it on the fabric any longer. So you cut it like you see me doing. Please make sure you subscribe, like and comment and share, as that will encourage me to do more videos. Thank you. Now let's go into the back bodice. I've gone ahead to draw on my lines. I'll be using my tape to show you the measurement I took. I'm using 16 inch instead of 17. That is because of the dart I took at the bust point. So I'll be using 16 inch for the back. I'll be using 3 inch neck depth and 1 inch for the neck width. So I'll go ahead to create my shoulder slant like you see me doing. Then you connect the line like how we did in the first place. Then you take half inch and connect it like you see me doing. Your bust measurement divide by 4, then you create your armhole curve. On the waistline and the bust point, you go in by your nipple to nipple measurement, then create a line like so. Then you go in by half inch on both sides, then you connect the line into the bust point like you see me doing. After then, you go ahead to take all your measurement and add 2 inch sewing allowance. Down the waistline, you take your measurement, divide by 4, you add the 1 inch on the dart allowance. You add it, then you add your 2 inch sewing allowance and connect the line like you see me doing. Then the zip allowance, you go in by half inch, then you connect it like down to the bust point. That is to avoid any gaping on the zipper allowance. You're going to come down from the shoulder line by 7 inch, then you connect it into the chest line like you see me doing. That is the length we'll be using for our back bodice. Then you go ahead and cut it out like you see me doing. Remember, we have already added our sewing allowance, so you are not going to be needing any sewing allowance when cutting on your fabric. If there are places you do not understand, you can leave your question in the comment section and I'll be willing to answer you. So if you are not subscribed yet, please kindly subscribe, like, comment and share, as that will encourage me to make more videos. Let's go ahead to cut on our fabric. We are going to be adding sewing allowance for the back bodies up and down. Then for the center front, you are going to add up, down and the side. Make sure you cut it on fold, and the other side you are going to cut it times 2. You add sewing allowance as well, half inch sewing allowance please. After you are done that, we'll go ahead and cut the skirt. On the upper body of the skirt, you are going to come in by half inch, so that the edge of this fabric will not be showing on the dress. So I'll go down by 9 inch from the waistline to the hip line. That is to create my hip line. Then I'll go down by 18 inch. That is because the person is tall. To get the actual measurement for this, you minus 16 from your full length, then you add 1 inch sewing allowance. Whatever you have, you are going to still minus 5 inch for the gather part of this dress. So this is how you are going to have the actual measurement you'll be using here. Now on the down part, I'm going ahead to roll my line as well. You are going to, on the hip, on the waistline, you take your waist, divide by 4. Then you are going to be adding 2 inch sewing allowance. Then on the next line, which is your hip line, your hip divided by 4, then you add 2 inch sewing allowance as well. You go to your knee measurement, you are going to minus 1.5 from your hip measurement. Whatever you have on your hip measurement here, you add your minus 1.5. That is the hip measurement and the sewing allowance. You take your measurement there and minus 1.5 there. Then it will give you your knee measurement. Now the measurement I use at the down part is 18 inch. That is because the person doesn't want it to be too flay, to be deflate to be much, so we are using 18 inch. If you want yours to be much, you can use 20, 22 or 25, probably, if you want yours to be flowy, because this is, because I use 4 years for this tutorial, so I'm trying to manage the fabric. So go ahead and cut it out like you see me doing. When you are done with that, the next thing you'll be doing is to make a mark at the center of the front piece you just cut out. Then you open it like this, like you see me doing. Then you're going to measure 11 inch from the waistline like you see me doing. Then you make a mark. Now go to the center front where you make that first mark and take 3 inch in. Then make a curve like so and cut it out. When you are done cutting it out, you are going to cut the back piece. Now fold the front and place it on another fabric where you'll be using it to cut your back. Indicate the hip line and the knee line. On your waistline, go in by 1.5 inch. On the hip line, you go in by 2 inch, and on the knee line, you go in by 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch. Then you connect it like you see me doing. Then on the hem of the back bodice, you are going to come out a bit like 3 inch. But if you have enough fabric and you want it to be like the reference video, you might want to use 7 or 8 or 10 if you want it to be flowy like that. Then after connecting the line, I will go ahead and take my scissors and cut it out like you see me doing. Go ahead and cut the sides, or like this place you created was the zipper allowance, so that's where you're going to indicate your zip, and you made a contour a bit for the zipper space. Now after doing that, you open the back with the wrong side facing up. Then you place the wrong side of your front piece on it like this with the right side facing up. Then you go ahead and cut out this side of the back. Make sure the wrong side is facing each other. Add the lining piece. When you're done the front, you are going to interface and add your wording. I use the soft padding, that's why I doubled it so that it will stand firm. I added the wording for both the lining piece and the main fabric. After doing that, you go ahead and sew them together. The line, I also use the fabric, the main fabric, as the lining piece. Joining them together, you go ahead and put them on each other like you see me doing. Then use your pins to hold them down so that you can sew. After sewing, you go ahead and trim any excesses that is left. Then you notch. Make sure you notch the areas very well so that you don't have any of the fabric pushing out. Then you turn it over to the good side. You have something looking like this. Now you can see the bustier standing firm. Sew the lining piece to the back bodice, then you have it looking like this. Then you sew in your dart intake. Doing that, then we'll go ahead to attach the front piece to the front part of the skirt. Then you use your pins, you turn it over, then use your pins to hold them down. You see our bustier is sitting pretty, right? Then after using your pins to hold it down, you go ahead and take it to the sewing machine so that you sew that part. We'll also be attaching the back piece of the skirt to the back allowance. Then make sure you know where the zipper allowance is so that you don't make your mistake. You use your pins to hold them down too and attach it before taking it to your sewing machine to sew them together. After sewing them together, you have it looking like this. You see the front has been attached. It's looking pretty. The back piece has also been attached. After doing that, you'll be needing to sew where you want your zip to stop on the back piece. Then you go ahead and bring in your zip. You attach your zip to the back bodice. Then you go ahead and take the front piece and join so that you can join the side together. The right side of the front and the back piece are facing each other. Then use your pins to hold them down. After using your pins to hold them down, make sure you use your pins properly to hold them down so that you don't have any mistake. When you are done using your pins to hold them down, then you take it to your sewing machine and you sew the side with your actual measurement. You take your proper measurement and use it to sew the side of your gown together. And use your chalk to indicate so that you will not make any mistake. When you are done sewing it, you have it looking like this. Then you turn it to the good side. When you are done with that, we'll be cutting our gather piece. We're using 6 inch instead of 5 inch that is left. That is because of 1 inch is for sewing allowance. And I use 72 for the length and I cut it by 4. That is 72 in 4 places. Then I'll go ahead to make my gathers. Making the gathers, we'll go ahead to attach our gather to the dress. But you are going to start from the back of the dress. We'll start from the side. You can also do that. But me, I'll be starting from the zip side, from the back piece. Then you use your pins to hold it down. As you are doing it, you'll be using your pins to hold. The gather is too long, you can as well draw the rope in so that the gather will sit pretty well on the dress. Then when you are done attaching the gather to the dress, you take it to your sewing machine and sew it down. You see that I'm drawing it in. That is because I don't want to have shortage or I don't want to have it too long. But I want to make sure everything goes into the dress. There's any part you don't understand, please kindly leave a comment. I will reply. So when you are done doing this part and sewing it to the dress, the next thing we'll be doing is to cut out the sleeve. Now go ahead and measure your yoke like you see me doing. Then whatever you have, you multiply it by 2. You can choose to use 3 if you want it to be too very gather. So you go ahead and measure 10 inch. Then for the length, whatever you have, you measure 27. Like mine was 26, I added 1 inch sewing allowance. Then you fold it like so, then you sew it. When you are done sewing it, you turn it like this and make sure you iron it. When you are done ironing it, you have something like this. Then go in by half inch on both sides. Then you draw your line. That is because that is where you'll be passing your elastic. So before passing your elastic, you notice that the edges are open. Now you're going to open one side of your sleeve, then use it to turn the other side. You turn the edges and sew them like you see me doing. When you are done sewing it, you have something like this. Then you turn it back. You are going to hold that side where you're using opening, where you're using turning this side. You are going to hold it like you see me doing. Then you sew it a bit. Just sew it like this, like this. When you are done sewing it like this, now go ahead and sew that part where you make your half inch sewing allowance for the elastic casing. When you are done with that, then you go ahead and cut your elastic out. The actual elastic length to use, you are going to add the front yoke and the back yoke, which I have 13. 13 minus 3.5 is giving me 9.5. So I'll cut 9.5 out. Then I'm going to pass it through. You make a mark, a little mark where you'll be passing the elastic through the casing down to the other side. After passing it, you have something that is looking like this. You see it's already forming the gathers already. So you have something looking like this. Please kindly subscribe as that will encourage me to make more videos. When you are done with that, you go ahead and repeat it for the second sleeve. then you have something looking like this. You can see if you want yours to look more extra, you can just add 2.5 or you can add 3 inch so that it becomes more fuller, because this is not looking very full. Then you attach it to your gown like you see me doing. Use your pins to hold it down before taking it to the sewing machine, but I would advise you use needle and thread to sew it down. Me, I also use needle and thread to sew it down. When you are done, you have your dress looking like this. Thank you for watching and hoping to make more videos for you. See you next on the channel. Bye, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.